Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for returning to another episode of The Weigh-In.
The Weigh-In?
Look, brother, I gotta tell you, man, if there's ever been a time to discuss some activity in superhero films, it's right now.
Oh, right now, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, but we're gonna start off with, like, the Zack Snyder Justice League cut. We think it could be possibly a terrible idea.
A terrible. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we here at The Weigh-In, and more specifically me, thinks that the Justice League Zack Snyder Cut is a terrible idea.
Oh, stop. Oh, man.
I can hear.
I don't want to hear it.
I can hear the people.
If you're going to state this and claim it, give me some facts.
Okay, here you go, prosecutor. Let me begin. Okay, so the Snyder Cut. The hype is too big at this point. So this is my first point of contention. So, Avengers Endgame, Infinity War, the previous Avengers movies, they are all gonna stack the Snyder Cut up against this.
Yeah, well, they should. I mean, let's not let the Snyder and Warner Brother AT&T slide away a little bit here. Yeah, they need to be up against some pressure on this. Look, if I remember correctly, the film did about $750 million. So they didn't make the $1 billion they wanted.
Yeah. They did not make the box office that they wanted.
So, but you're close. In some ways, they were pretty close. If you're at $500 million, you're really a dud, right? So, but without having the dark side, without going to dark side and where they should have gone, that could have been the whole difference. Because people came out of that wondering, who the hell is the villain here?
Yes.
You know?
And, I mean, they had the definitive villain who was, Steppenwolf.
Yeah, that's the nephew of Darkseid.
Which people kind of really don't know.
He shows up once or twice in comics, man.
Yeah, so they pulled in respectively $657 million.
Okay, it's a little less than I thought. So, yeah, that's definitely a slight underachiever there, I'd say. Yeah.
It's definitely a misfire for that stable of characters.
Sure.
You know,
but, well, the film was not really that bad, but we're not going to dwell on the antics of semantics of how good or bad it really was. I thought it was fine. It worked pretty well. I'm a comic fan, so are you. We were able to digest it. The novices could not figure it out.
But what
you never really gave us the villain. Why are we fighting all this? Yeah. There's no villain.
And just like, let's be clear, they're going to pick this movie apart.
Oh yeah,
like they're going to pick this movie apart. You know, and I guess all eyes on it. So my second point of contention is the DCEU versus the Trolls. So, now, the DC Cinematic Extended Universe is historically known for just
Did you coin that phrase? That little DC... Did you?
No. That's definitely not me. No. That's them. But historically, it's been known to have some misfires, and it's been trolled a lot. Like the Martha scene. They tore up the Martha scene. Superman's infamous mustache in Justice League, the bad CGI on that.
Yeah, if you're looking for the mustache, you're going to find it. It didn't bother me.
A lot of people didn't like it. A lot of people did not like the Joker in the Suicide Squad movie, and then after Joaquin Phoenix's Joker came out, they really didn't like Jared Leto's Joker.
Yeah. Well, we're not talking about Joker here, Mr. Negative. Come on now.
But listen to what I'm saying. In the lackluster Suicide Squad movie, these are all missiles that are aimed at this Snyder Cut that people are already going in with that bias of, we want to see everything accurate. So, everything, is going to weigh heavily on those first reactions of how the tenor goes, just like with the original movie.
Okay.
The Batman v Superman, I thought was a phenomenal movie, but I really do think that the bad press that it got stopped that movie. I think that movie could have capped off 900, maybe close to a
That movie was succinctly well done.
It was very well done.
I've already written off the Suicide Squad and the Harley Quinn and all that shit. They're designed for a different type of fan.
Okay.
It's almost like the Deadpool fan base, Okay, those are entertaining films if that's what you like. Guess what? I don't like that kind of stuff. My superheroes are cut and dry. They're either Captain America, Iron Man, get right to the point, and I want them to be fairly serious. Sorry, Thor's a joke, but Thor's still a great character in heart. But, I think the Justice League film, for all intents and purposes, was a very, very good example of a superhero film.
Yes.
But they don't want a superhero film. They want it to be just a little different, a little stretched. I thought it was solid. It worked real well. The Batman versus the Batman v Superman film, I thought it was exceptionally well done. It was very entertaining.
Very good.
Now look at defending, if you don't mind, let me defend the Martha comment for 1 minute. Okay, it's such an amazing connection between the two characters. So even though it sounds funny that somebody's calling out their mother or their grandmother, but it's the most succinct word to use. What other word could you have tossed in there to make him change it up? Like, oh, you know, I got kryptonite in my pocket. What are you gonna say? No thoughts on that one.
No. Let me take a pause and let me say that I am personally looking forward to the Snyder Cut, but that doesn't mean just because I'm looking forward does not make it a bad idea for the DCEU. Now, I'm looking forward to it all. Now, let me add on to the Martha. This is what I think could have been done, and this is what I think Zack just assumed that the audience would get.
Okay.
So, Zack, if you remember, set up that beautiful montage in the beginning of the movie of the, you know, we've all known it, we've all seen it, you know, the Waynes getting murdered.
Yes.
Okay, in Crime Alley. So Bruce Wayne has a deep connection to his parents. You know, it's part of his motivation. Is one of the main reasons that he fights crime. You know, he loves his father, he loves his mother. So Zack made the connection that both their mothers happen to be named Martha. You know, it was, you know, I'm sure it wasn't done on purpose. It just happened to happen. So Kal-El, Clark, thinking that he's about to die at the hands, you know, of Batman, the only thing that he can think is selflessly saying, look, Martha. Like, the only thing in Cal's mind and Superman's mind is my mother. Yo,
dude,
like Martha. Dude, like, you have to save Martha. Now, what happened is Batman, who for the whole movie and for the last couple years in that universe has been such a monster, so jaded by everything that's happened. Right then, Superman brought Batman's humanity back. He brought it right back, and he's like, my mother. Then he's like,
but that's why I think it works.
Yeah, and he's like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm about to kill this dude. So it snaps him back. And that's why he's like, what? You know, and then he's a little bit, because he's traumatized, because he's took him back to who he was, and he's like, why'd you say that name? And the reason that struck him, because it made him remember his own parents.
Yeah, it's an extremely powerful phrase.
It brought his humanity back. That was the moment his humanity was brought back, and the trolls didn't get that.
No, they didn't.
They thought it was too simplistic.
Yeah, and it really wasn't. And we both agree on that part. Yeah. It really does work.
And I always argue it's the same thing that Tony Stark, as intelligent as he is, could not reason that Bucky Barnes was brainwashed. I'm gonna kill this dude anyway, you know, and Cap not seeing that it was probably a better idea to kind of bridge this before they go out on a mission. It's the same thing. They just received it better.
Well, like you said, what is it? What is the phrase you called the trolls? Did you give them a nickname or anything?
It's just trolls. Okay. That's the culture.
There is a boatload of things in every single Marvel movie
that you could pick apart.
That I could pick apart, but
especially the earlier ones.
Especially the earlier ones, and the later ones, I actually find some flaws too. But the entertainment factors there, which we always discuss.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
Yeah,
the popcorn's fresh, except for the one time I went to the popcorn machine.
That was that Joker,
dude.
Yeah,
dude. By the way, that assassination of the Waynes in the Joker film is also a phenomenal assassination. Also,
it's incredible. Like, that scene is, dude. Zack Snyder knows how to set a shot. He knows he's a great filmmaker in the sense that, like, he can set up a really good scene.
He really can. You know, I just thought of something a few moments ago, and I didn't want to lose track of this brainwave I had here. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we're talking the fictional film, we're talking the reality of somebody was killed. Somebody very, very famous in America asked for his mother when he was killed.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow.
That is a very strong word by saying Martha. That's a mother reference, too.
Yes.
You know, and I don't want to compare it to the great, you know, George Floyd, the legend that he is now.
Yeah.
May he rest in peace.
No, but like,
think about that.
But just, it's human nature.
Yeah.
And you know, Clark was just like, Martha, like, you have to save Martha, but it was just enough to trigger Bruce Wayne back. It broke Bruce out of the Batman.
Yeah.
And brought Bruce Wayne in, and he's like, oh shit, what am I doing?
It made those two dudes actually stronger after that.
Yes.
Those characters. Now they have a symbiotic relationship kind of thing.
And to tie this part up real quick, I like the part where, you know, Bruce was like, yo, you got to go do this, you know, handle this monster. I promise you, your mother will not die. And you know he went there with a vengeance, okay?
Bingo. Damn.
So,
bring it, man.
Now, my third argument I like to call Darkseid in the tragedy of X-Men Apocalypse and the accuracy of Thanos. So I know everybody's like, what are you talking about? That's a little ambiguous.
I'm your partner on the show, and I'm wondering what the hell you're talking about.
So one of the things that really tanked X-Men Apocalypse was the fact that Apocalypse did not look accurate.
But not only that, he was nowhere near as powerful as we know him from the comics.
Absolutely.
Now, that's almost a Darkseid dud, without even, because Darkseid was a dud because we never saw him.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you screw up Apocalypse, you've already knocked the film 50% off the mark.
That took X-Men back. One of the things that boosted Infinity War was how accurate Thanos looked, how well his behaviors was, and you just felt it. When I seen Thanos in the trailer, I'm like, holy shit. That's Thanos.
Well, you know,
he looked like the Thanos.
That was dead on.
That right there is 90%.
They also had, I think, I don't know exactly how many films there were where he showed up at the end. A couple times he didn't show up, but he did make a lot of cameos at the end.
Yes.
They kept the little buzz alive, but they were still introducing new characters, so they never brought Thanos to the forefront.
Yeah.
But along the way, let's call it half a dozen times he showed up.
Yeah.
The actor playing the role obviously got better at it.
Yeah.
The costuming got better. So when he finally got to Infinity War, boom, bingo.
Yeah, he looked
these guys are jumping
good.
in. There's no Darkseid at all, which is a screw up.
Steppenwolf just didn't look or feel menacing.
No,
they never let it set up where like he destroys or kills something. Because even the Russo brothers said with Thanos, you're gonna know in the first 5 minutes why Thanos is a threat.
To the point, yeah.
You know,
it doesn't make any sense when you hide the main adversary in a project.
Yeah.
Now in the Snyder Cut, I wouldn't be surprised, and I'll actually predict in advance that Steppenwolf's role, or the length of his role, is going to be severely subdued, or there's going to be a lot of intersections in the middle. There's going to be a lot of insertions and things along the line. Because remember Batman has the, I might have my films wrong here, I sure hope I'm not. It's one of the flashback sequences in the film where Batman's trying to find the last kryptonite in that one sequence when Mantis comes down from the sky and all the little parademons are flying.
Oh, that's Batman v Superman. That's the kind of flashback nightmare sequence.
But even at that time, they still didn't show Darkseid at all.
But they showed a symbol.
They showed a symbol on the ground. But if you don't know what's going on, you're going like, okay, that's a nice visual, but what the hell does that mean?
That's true.
WTF again. You can't assume the audience knows what you're doing.
You have to show the villain.
And if you hint and you don't show the villain, you've definitely failed, and we both agree on that.
And all they really had to do was show Darkseid sitting somewhere talking to somebody, just looking like Darkseid, supposed to look menacing, huge, maybe in a dark room on a throne with some fire.
On a throne or something.
Yeah, the golden chair. Yeah, the trolls on the Marvel side made the memes like Thanos is never going to get out that chair, But when he did get out that chair, boy, was he thrilling. So
yeah, the Darkseid character, real fast, has the potential to be as insanely popular or insanely menacing as Thanos was.
Yes.
As great as Doctor Doom will be when they finally get around to it, because Fox obviously have that.
Darkseid for he's that dude. Darkseid is that boy for DC. As Thanos is for Marvel.
Yeah, because Jim Starlin, the creator of Thanos, the character, he was a great artist.
Jim Starlin, salute.
There you go, the man, phenomenal writer, great concept guy. I mean, it's all based on the essence of what Doctor Doom is about. The comics kind of give you that there. He's not as menacing, but you get the same impression. I mean, Darth Vader stems sort of from the Marvel comics, and you add some sci-fi there. And then along the way in the early 70s, you get Darkseid when Jack Kirby's over at DC.
Yeah.
So, Thanos was just, he had so much information to work with. So, I mean,
there was already a template.
There really was. No, nothing against Jim Starlin. He still did a great character.
Oh, yeah.
And his character became the best one that we finally saw on screen.
Yes.
So now we get a chance to see one of the ones that's really the blueprint for these characters, and we'll see if Snyder can pull it out. He's got a lot of pressure to pull this off.
Yeah. So that leads me into argument number 4. DC versus Marvel. Comic book fans are cult-loving, costume-wearing, dark fanboy zealots.
They really are.
On both sides, it's like the Dems and the Republicans. It's like the Democrats and the Republicans. The Marvel fans are always going to say that the Marvel movies are better. The DC fans are always going to say that the DC movies are better. We get that. There are going to be a lot of people biased by Zack Snyder's tone. I know one thing that people are going to say is, where are the jokes? Why is nobody cracking a joke in the middle of a battle? That's not what I want to see.
You're going to get a little bit of it, but you're not going to get to the point where Marvel's doing it.
Yeah, I didn't want, I felt that the Joss Whedon, and it may have not been Josh's fault, it may have been the studio, but I felt like those jokes were forced. Especially the tone. A lot
I mean, when Aquaman sits on the rope to tell the truth, and he kind of has the hots for her.
No, that's fine. Yeah. But there's the one where like Batman gets blown up and his legs are in the air. He's looking goofy and shit. Like,
yeah, you got a point. They tried a little too hard there.
Yeah. They were trying a little bit too hard. Like,
this might be the key factor in this discussion that we're talking about, actually, because we actually, as being comic fans, and a lot of the comic fans, you definitely know exactly what you're looking for in a film. And, me personally, we're expecting our characters to be pretty close to as serious as they are.
Absolutely.
Instead, the Marvel was able to put more seats in the theater. People bought more tickets. More seats were filled up. I get it.
And
at the extent of damaging a good character, that's the only problem I've had. And when DC went and did their films a little more serious, everybody was bitching and moaning, like you mentioned. But
I loved it personally, and everybody wasn't bitching and moaning.
Remember we caught those films? It's like, you looked at me, I looked at you, and even with the Joker film, it's like, what the fuck is everybody complaining about?
Because the movies were good, and we need that different take. So there was some really great thoughts on segment 4. So let's just go right into segment 5, and let me just drop it. So
bring it out.
I titled this "Not My Daddy's Batman," aka Batfleck behaves like John Wick, aka DC is too dark. So I know this is a Justice League movie, meaning it's the full curation of all the DC characters, the big 7. But Batman, being as huge as he is definitely going to be, center point. Now, everybody was crying and didn't understand, the story arc which this Batman, Ben Affleck's Batman, was pulled from, and said, Batman doesn't kill, and why are we seeing Batman kill? We don't like it tonally. And let me just say, Batman did use a gun when he first started.
He did.
Batman was a little bit more violent. And if you even, if you go back to any, previous Batman films, even if Batman didn't kill, he allowed people to die. So he's not clear-cut perfect. And one thing I want to say, not just, that the character of the Batman is too dark. A lot of people were complaining, saying that Zack's movies are a little bit darker. But to me, it just fits with the tone. It's all about telling his story.
It is.
It's a grittier. Even if you go back to Keaton's, 89 Batman, it's a darker Batman. It's more noir. So, to me, it's part of the storytelling.
Yeah.
The darkness of it. And I didn't mind the killing.
I'm not a prude about the whole thing. Look, at the 89 Batman, I'm just going to reference it very briefly, the 89 Batman. The thing is, it is the Batman.
Yes.
And people have guns. I mean, what the hell are we talking about here? It's it's not like we're doing something that doesn't happen in this narrative or these comic book narratives. Yeah. It's like, why is everybody all bent out of shape because you think it's cute because there's something going on in a Marvel movie? They're all based on comics and graphic novels, and they're not corny. So first off, don't be trying to push me around as a consumer. I bought my ticket. I'm happy. It's fine. I'm not saying I want blood, guts, and gore like a freaking horror film, but I like my superheroes to be a little more serious because they come off corny if they're not serious.
Yes.
And look at Zack Snyder. The way he shoots, he's a very good visionary.
Yes,
look, his Watchmen film, aside from the argument about the monster with the tentacles did not destroy it or whatever the hell it was, you get that in the HBO show. I like Zack's work as a visionary. I think he's very good at that, and I think he does a fairly good job. And let's cut the guy a little slack. His kid committed suicide.
Yes,
I mean everybody's ready to chop his head off, but give him a little rest.
Yeah, Zack had a lot to deal with, and once again, I want to say that he had a lot of gutsy casting.
He did.
He pushed for Connie Nielsen for the Wonder Woman movie. He pushed for Gal Gadot. He pushed for Jason Momoa. He pushed for him. And he changed the whole conversation about Aquaman.
Oh, he did. That character was a pun of jokes, if you remember the old Entourage TV show on HBO. It was a joke.
And then you look at Aquaman now and you're like, holy shit. This dude is a beast.
Yeah, even though Zack was fired from DC at that time, he still got...
Bad call.
It was a bad call. But even though that had happened, I noticed on the credits, I saw Aquaman the other day. I saw the last half an hour was on TV again. So when it's there, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
He's listed as an executive producer.
Yes.
So even though he was laid off and fired and whatnot, he still obviously was there before.
His input.
Okay, and that film made a lot of money. So deep inside, if you really analyze it, if the Russo brothers are considered to be the best directors for the Marvel films, and we both will agree that they are.
Yes.
The flip side to it, to the other company, is if there's no Zack Snyder, the quality that we've already seen, DC films are probably in a worse shape.
Yeah.
They'd be a train wreck without Zack Snyder.
And quick sidebar, there was a lot of manipulation and modifying with that Suicide Squad movie.
We hear that. There was a company that does trailers did a full cut of a feature.
Yeah.
The proper editors did a full cut at Warner Bros. And somebody else did a cut. So instead, everybody said, well, I like that part in that film, that part in this film. So it was like editing by by a group of men sitting at a giant oak table, men with gray hair who don't even know they have the Suicide Squad in their
so
property.
They don't understand the property.
Exactly. So there supposedly was some rumors of another person's cut coming out of that film, which I expect you're going to see it on HBO Max. If the Snyder Cut does well, the gates are open.
Yes. So
and DC will go back, I believe, and actually start keeping the films the way they want them to be. Zack is this is a major relaunch point for them. So they're not going to back off. They're going to be serious films.
No, this is a perfect segue into my last argument about why the Snyder Cut is a terrible idea for
Bring it, even though you're probably going to fail this argument.
Okay, you ready for this?
If you're brave enough.
It might be a phenomenal movie. Then DC Film Division has to admit they made a fucked up decision. Cat Williams voice, you made a fucked up decision.
Do they have to really admit it, or they
won't admit it, but the world will know, and somebody's gonna bring it up. All the would-be critics out there, rise and fall, that shit.
Those guys are dealing with in the billions and billions of dollars, so they have thicker skin. You can't worry about what some fans are saying on YouTube.
Yeah, but here's my thing though. Do they rehire Zack? Even though he's kind of quasi-rehired?
Guess what?
Now,
he's already deep in the mix, brother.
Yeah. Let me just get this last thing off. No. Do they restructure? If it's received positively? Because, it was Zack's way, then they were like, okay, we're going to go a different way. Do they go back to Zack's way if the Snyder Cut does well? Like, what are they going to do?
Well, first of all, I think Zack will work. You know why? Because the major problem was, I don't know if he had a say on this, or maybe he was already he wasn't coming in or something, but if he had actually got Darkseid in the version that he actually worked on, and since it never showed up, that might have solved a lot of problems on his getting fired.
Yeah, so
because that is a problem with that character, the nephew of Darkseid.
Yeah,
that's a problem there. And
not being a strong enough villain, and we know
that might have been the difference between $200 or $300 million.
Yeah, so let me just.
Can you imagine seeing Apocalypse, the planet, all those areas, Granny Goodness, you've got Mr. Miracle, you could have Light Ray flying by, people would have lost their head, they would have lost their mind.
So let me, now that we finished up my arguments, let me just add some closing thoughts,
Sure.
if the jury will hear me out. So, apparently the general that he played in Man of Steel is supposed to return as Martian Manhunter.
Zod? No. Zod became...
the actual general. The light-skinned black guy.
Yes.
He's supposed to return as Martian Manhunter. So he's going to be John Jones. Apparently, and I don't know how wild this is, but it would be fucking crazy, as poorly received as the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie is. Apparently, he was supposed to make a cameo. Apparently, the black suit was supposed to make a cameo. And there was supposed to be a scene of Deathstroke breaking Luthor out of the prison,
which would have made sense.
Which would have made sense, and then they split away, and then they rendezvous.
Yeah, because when Deathstroke shows up at the end of the Suicide Squad film, he's on that boat.
No, that was Justice League.
Oh,
that was
who was he talking to? He was talking to Luthor on the boat, right?
Yes.
Okay, so he should have broke him out. Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
and when we saw that dude playing that role when he showed up, that was a great scene.
That dude, the suit looked good, the dude looked good, his face looked good. He's got the hype. I was very excited.
Well, you've always loved that character. I know you were going bonkers on that one.
Yeah.
There's some good vibe going on if you really analyze it. Don't just sit there and try to put Marvel and DC together. Analyze what we're talking about, folks. We're not trying to. I love Marvel films as much as you do. This is not a competitive thing. I'm just saying I like good entertainment. I think the Zack Snyder Cut should be good.
That's it. That's pretty much all I got. Well, that was great.
That was some beautiful stuff, man. Thanks for bringing in some good stuff today.
Yeah.
Good suggestions, good themes. And folks, that's the weigh-in.
That's the weigh-in.
Woo! I mean, I still think if you're already having sex, you still have to realize that when she makes a nice smile, it doesn't mean it's not time to fool around on the
No,
bush.
big facts.
That's what I was kind of...
No.
Yeah, but if you're not giving sex, you follow these rules, you're golden.
Yeah.
But, I don't think I've met many males that have done that, but they usually take it personal, they get mad, they get all nervous, they get breakouts on their face.
No, but that's very, very true.
It's two sides of that story.
Even if she smiles, even if you're already having sex, just because she smiles or, punches you around a little bit doesn't mean it's time to jump into sex. So, number 5, increase your sexual market value. Develop a fit body. Exercise regimen. And you develop a fit body not to look like a chiseled, Instagram model dude, but it's more in the lines of, like, if you go back to, like, genetic inclusive fitness, that Darwinianism, like, if you're active, if you're strong, you just make for a better sexual mate.
Yeah.
A rigorous hygiene protocol, aka take baths and use deodorant every single day.
Oh yeah,
as much as you can. Develop a sense of style. You don't have to have anything crazy.
Yeah.
But just have some. Be nice and neat.
Established. Yeah.
Yeah, just be nice and neat. Nothing. You don't need nothing crazy. And the accoutrements.